so they will know we are Christians by our love. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand, we will walk with each other. So, I have this 2015 NCAA tournament bracket. 6 of my Elite 8 are in. I didn't get Notre Dame, thought it'd been Kansas, and I didn't get, no, I lied, 5 of my Elite 8. I had Boise State and Georgia. And I guess it's not either one of them. But Louisville's going to beat whoever, and Gonzaga is going to beat whoever, Duke. So 5 out of 8. 5 out of 8. And I have U of L beating UK in the championship game. I have Wisconsin and Gonzaga for my Final Four. So that's just to let you know how, about bracket. I know you was dying to know. You're like, man, I wonder how he is doing on his brackets. So I want to get down to business actually with this video. With this video, I want to name them all. So basically I have 67 bills, and I went ahead and I analyzed which were good, which were bad, which one couldn't I decide on. And these are all the bad bills. So I'm going to talk about all the bills that are bad. Of course, the heroin bill, probably one of the worst bills ever constructed. It's a Frankenstein. It's got half of it is fascism, and they want to just crush the heroin users, and then they have a couple sort of compassionate amendments that were added to it, which won't really help anything, but it shows that there are people that's on the correct side of this fight. Needle exchanges. I don't see heroin addicts going to the government to get their needles. I don't see heroin addicts trusting the government if they call 911, that they would actually be protected by the Good Samaritan law. I think they would pull Vic Mackey from The Shield, and they would just drop their overdosing heroin buddy who got a bad batch just on the curb right in front of the doors of the ER, and then take off, make sure nobody sees. You probably should have your vehicle covered up, because they'll follow you, right? They'll find that out. So, I don't see a bunch of heroin outlaws going to the government to get their needles. I don't see a bunch of heroin outlaws feeling like the laws of Kentucky are actually going to protect them if one of their friends happens to overdose on this, devil's dust, this the scourge of everything that is holy. Heroin it's a bad drug. It's like crack. It's like meth. It's a horrible drug. Cocaine. It's one of the bad ones. So, I see where the sentiments are coming from. It's well-meaning, but it's just, the war on drugs doesn't work. It's been a failure for decades. It has never worked. And, keep on doing the same. Prohibition didn't work with alcohol, and that's why it doesn't work with drugs today. With everything, if you understand economics, it's basic economics 101. You want to lower the addiction rate and drug use rate, then you got to, there's supply and there's a demand. So there's a reason why there's a meth epidemic, and then an Oxycontin epidemic, and then a heroin epidemic, and maybe salvia, maybe sugar. I don't know. Sugar would be okay, right? Could we get addicted on sugar, or would they start making sugar illegal? And would that solve it? There'd be an underground sugar market. People would be buying bags of sugar, illegally from each other. That wouldn't solve it. It doesn't make any sense. And so, the heroin bill is really bad bill, really crappy laws, but it kind of shows you they basically just patched something together so they could go home and tell their constituents that they done something about heroin, but they didn't. Passing laws it hasn't done anything. For decades. This is the culture. We need to change the culture of Kentucky. We got to not be proud of being ignorant. We don't need to, we need to be literate. 2 out of 5 Kentuckians cannot read. So I think literacy, that's a good direction. And I think knowledge instead of ignorance, these are positive developments. And the readers can teach the non-readers. The knowledge holders can pass the knowledge to those who don't have knowledge. And the good can make Kentucky better. So that which I see, I clean my house because I love it, not because I hate it. You clean your house, you take care, you maintain, and you progress, right? You always make it better. And if you said, love it or leave it, love it or leave it. Right, I already did the analogy with the pile of shit. There's a pile of shit, love it or leave it. It's, I love the house, I don't love the pile of shit. I'm going to clean the pile of shit, okay? And I'm not a bad person because I think that, I can love the house as well as improving on it at the same time. Seems actually like a really basic concept. Very simple and basic concept. A child, a 5-year-old kindergartner could figure it out. Just like colors, right? There's no such thing as white or black people. Never seen a white or black person, like a literal white or black person. That would freak me the fuck out. I'd be like, what am I seeing right here? I'd take a picture, right, and then show everybody else. This is what white and black looks like. Okay, so that was a whole lot of nothing. Alright, so, 27 folks overdosed on heroin. 27 people died. 27 people. We had 1,000 overdoses, and only 27 of them were heroin overdoses. So, the overdoses are horrific. They're bad. But we have 10,000 who have died of heart disease, and we have, we had 26 people who died of the flu. So we have just as bad of a flu epidemic as we do a heroin epidemic. There's car wrecks, people falling in their own houses, cancer, old age, heart disease, suicides. There was like 500 suicides in 2010. So what are we doing about the suicide epidemic, right? And some people would say you have a right to kill yourself, and Darwin, social Darwinism, the strongest survive. If they don't want to live, fuck them. And I feel people on that. In fact, that could be also some of the heroin addicts, right? They don't want to live no more. They don't care. It's suicidal. But that's cold, right? I mean, that's pretty cold-blooded. I feel you on that, but I mean, it's people can change, and we can when we give people the opportunity and the context, we improve their situation in life and give them more options and opportunities. We give them a chance. Give people a fighting chance. If they choose not to go anywhere, you can't make anybody. People just want to fucking be losers. Then that's what they're going to be. My point is that there's bigger issues. There's a suicide epidemic. There's heart disease epidemic, cancer epidemic, people falling down in their house epidemic, car wreck epidemic, flu epidemic. Why are we so focused on the heroin? I mean, my God, it almost seems like there's a heroin epidemic in Frankfurt, right? Everybody's talking about it. In fact, it's a felony. You're allowed to break the law in Frankfurt as long as it's not a felony. So they could be drinking and driving all the time. They could have showed up drunk the whole time that they were there. Anything that's not a felony. So they could have been high. They could have just walked around with a bunch of stogies, just Gatewood, Galbraithing it up right in the Capitol in front of the Jefferson Davis monument, right? That big statue of the great and mighty Jefferson Davis, which all Kentuckians must worship and love. Just like the U of L Confederate statue and the Henry Watterson Expressway. These are important cultural icons to the Rupp Arena, right? Adolph Rupp, one of the biggest racists on the planet. Alright, so this is about the laws of Kentucky. Okay, so the laws of Kentucky. Let's get down to business. So heroin is the drug that's killing the least, and OxyContin even killed even less than heroin did. They make up these crises. They're manufactured crises. They're pushing the problem into other areas too. So there's a lot of articles that have actually said that the heroin epidemic, it comes straight out of the Oxycontin epidemic. You had all these people, hillbillies that was addicted to Oxycontin, hillbilly heroin, and then once there was no more hillbilly heroin around, the Jack Conway had a crackdown, and, fucked all those doctors and got them out of business, and basically put charges on them and made them look bad and shit. Once there was no hillbilly heroin, they went and got some real heroin. It was cheaper. $25 bundle gives the same high as an $80 Oxycontin pill, right? So it's cheaper. So by going after the meth, people go to the Oxycontin. By going after the Oxycontin, people go after the heroin. By going after the heroin, people are going to go after the mescaline or the salvia. Well, 2011, salvia was declared illegal, so I guess Frankfurt preempted the salvia epidemic that was going to happen in Kentucky. But now they're going after heroin. So heroin's out. So what's the next drug of use? What's the next big thing that everybody's just going to, start getting addicted on? Pain pills have always been around. All this stuff is always all around all the time. So it's not even like a wave of one drug or another drug. It's a wave of the laws of Frankfurt, right? First they go after meth, then they go after Oxycontin, then they go after heroin. They went after NyQuil and Robitussin. No minors can get NyQuil or Robitussin, which is, that's fine and dandy, but every adult has to sign their name and show their ID every time you get NyQuil. So, FedEx, UPS, the post office, they're delivering drugs to a lot of people. It's one of the big things that they do. They're drug dealers. They're in packages and alcohol, drug stores. Come on, give me a break. So there's the meth bill passed in 2012. So lower amounts of Sudafed could be bought if you're sick and you need some more Sudafed. If you're sick, if you're 17 years old and you're sick and you want some NyQuil, you gotta get on the black market. You gotta get an adult to buy you some NyQuil, so that way you could get better. So that's kind of crazy. NyQuil is known as the night nurse. The Germans use it as that's my night nurse. In fact, this entire week I've been sick. I've just been nursing on NyQuil. And then since this bill came out, I was like, Robitussin does the same thing. So I'm actually trying some Robitussin now. I believe I broke past the fever. I've broken past the sickness. I'm still feeling a little queasy, but I totally relied on sleep, water, and NyQuil. So my God, you take NyQuil out of the equation, I might actually have to go to a doctor and get some antibiotics and be overprescribed with antibiotics, become immune to it, and then start, dying of basic pneumonia or cholera or smallpox, things, polio, things that have been eradicated for 1,000,000 years. I feel like I should get a polio shot or a smallpox shot just to be safe. I'm not immune to that, am I? I don't know. I need to get every shot that I possibly can get. Okay, so the war on drugs, it turns pharmacists into snitches. It turns the patients against the doctors. It devastates the community. We spend all this money criminalizing people, using violence against people, criminalizing addicts and addiction. It's a public health issue. And but the same people that are for the war on drugs and cracking you over the head are the same people who's against health care. So they want to beat you up and throw you in a pen and give you, welfare as long as you're stuck in a cage and you have to be a slave and, get used to being raped by the jailers. As long as that's how you get your welfare, but they don't actually want you to have any food stamps or health insurance. When you're free, it's probably the same amount, they probably cost the exact same. How much money would we save? I think for every dollar we spend on education, we save 2 on prisons. So, seems like we should put all of our money in education, healthcare, the Kentucky people, roads. Education and healthcare, those are 2 really big things we have been spending on. That's been Medicaid in public schools and colleges. Frankfurt has been putting lots of money into these things for a long time. I don't think we should give that up. We should protect that, that's controversial. That's controversial. Bevin and Will T. Scott, they're all talking about repealing Obamacare. Hal Heiner wants to repeal Obamacare, Common Core, CARA. Hal Heiner wants to get rid of all of Obama stuff. Anything Obama did, he's just against. Wait, Obama did it? I'm against it. No, I'm against it. You know, Common Core, there's no actual law that you can repeal. It's just the idea of Common Core. The states pushed for it, so we all have a common curriculum nationally. And it's just the English and the math people. And what's wrong with having a common curriculum? Why are you all so pissed about this? Anyways, 1/4 of all Kentucky's nearly 21,000 prison inmates are serving time for drug offenses. 1/4. 1 out of 4 of Kentucky's 21,000 prison inmates are serving time for drug offenses. So, you know, that's ridiculous. The war on drugs isn't helping anybody. It's ruining people's lives. The public officials, they get paid. The drug dealers who never get caught, run, Johnny, run, right? John Robert Boone is still on the run. It's a moral panic. It's a crime panic. Oh, my God. So manufacture a drug crisis, stretch the truth, say the drug addictions are leading to more crimes, more deaths, pass a bunch of laws, enrich all the 120 white-collar courthouse click pocket tyrannical mafias throughout Kentucky. They feel better about themselves. They arrest more folks, use violence against them, ruin their lives. The problem never goes away. It just keeps on popping up in different forms. But they get paid, and nobody's, you know, we got 41 jailers and no jails. We have jail-less jailers. People, we pay 70 grand to sit around and just to, I guess, I don't know, fart happy birthday to themselves or something. That's, you know, 70 grand, there's no jail. So there's 2 people that's run away. News story, there was 2 like inmates that ran away. It just makes me think, like, why do we need these jailers? The sheriff catches them, he takes them to the jail instead of giving it to the jailer so he can take it to the jail. The sheriff just takes it to the jail. There's no jail in that county. They got to drive it to the next county anyways. And if the jailer doesn't have a jail, they should spend all their time writing grants to get a jail, or finding a old house and having like a Mayberry jail where you can just kind of keep somebody there confined. You don't ruin their life. They're just an old drunkard or whatever. They don't harm anybody. They don't hurt anybody. Let them, you know, like Mayberry, like they did in Mayberry. They didn't even need a gun in Mayberry. So you'll get less time for murder in Kentucky than for cannabis. Rand Paul, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Republicans, war on drugs. It's big business. It also means there's very few Democrats left in Kentucky. They're all love this war on drugs. They love it. See, I'm a true blue progressive Democrat. I'm liberal. I believe in liberal democracies. I believe that we are the government and that democracy, I believe in democracy. I believe the will of the people. No majority shouldn't take individual rights away. Of course not. But the majorities are right on war issues, poverty issues, and we don't even have the choice. We pick the representatives and then they become corrupt. If we had a bigger choice, of course I believe in democracy. So I'm a true blue progressive Democrat. I believe in the poor. I believe in the vitality and strength of the working class and middle class, working class, poor peoples, homeless people. I believe in their intelligence to be able to govern their own lives, to make their own decisions, and the inherent goodness of them and really all humanity. I think it's the liberals who feed the poor. It's the liberals who give the right to vote to women, who give the right to vote to black folks. It's liberals who passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, who freed the slaves. It was liberals, you know, I believe in a liberal drug policy. I believe in, you know, having liberal amounts of freedom. Having, you know, not just freedom of speech, but having gun rights and having, you know, 3rd Amendment, 4th Amendment, 5th, go down every one of 626 sections of Kentucky's Constitution guarantees our freedoms. Kentucky, we got stand your ground, we got castle law, and we got vigilante laws. So, you know, we're expected to be our own person here and to stand up for ourselves. And so, you know, there's, I don't know, I'm kind of going all over the place here. But I'm a true blue progressive Democrat, and I believe in that we should do good and that, you know, our inherent goodness will win out. Yes, there's going to be corrupt and bad people out there, and you're going to need to jail some people and hit some people over the head, but it should be the very last option that we do. You know, I have no idea how Jesus Christ was stolen by the Republicans. Jesus hung out with the prostitutes, with the muck, with the poor, you know, with the people of society that the Republicans despise. You know, Jesus was in Middle East, so he wouldn't been, he might have been black, but at the very least he's brown. He's Middle Eastern, and that's a Middle Eastern Jew. Jesus was a Jew. So that's what the Republicans are for Middle Eastern Jewish people. I don't know. So let's see. I haven't even started on the laws, but I am glad I got all that out because I had some more things I want to talk about with the heroin bill. That 1/4 of Kentucky, 1 out of 4 prisoners are in prison for some stupid drug offense. And if it's non-violent drug offense, I think the people who put them in jail are the criminals. If I have a beer and you beat me up and fuck over my life, you're the criminal, not me. I didn't hurt anybody, but that other asshole hurt somebody for no fucking reason whatsoever. Except for, it's the law. It's the law. Okay, well, in dry counties, when you see someone with a 24-pack of beer, make sure you arrest them for intent to distribute. They're trafficking, and not only arrest them, but take their vehicle. That's Kentucky law. If you hear about homosexuals having sex, after the 3rd time, they are repeat offenders. That's a Class D felony. So that's the law. That's the law. So enforce the law. And I think that would be a horrible law. I'm 100% against both of those. But those are laws that's on the books right now. And there's lots of stupid laws that are on the books right now. I pointed out 10 of them. I'm going to point out, another 10 or so. But I'm going to call this a video. I'm going to call it a completion. But what's coming up, I'm going to talk about 3 good laws. They had a Connor Bacchus law. Kill a child by abuse, then you die. That's first-degree manslaughter, motherfucker. And the training of school officials to stop child abuse. So there's some actually really good laws that I like. Blood Song is now Kentucky's official play of the history of the Hatfield and McCoys. Blood Song. So we learn about that. But then we start seeing that there's a 3 amendment riders bigger than the original bill. We start seeing contradictions. Illegal gaming is illegal in businesses, but not in the churches and not for kids. Kids are allowed to gamble if it's at a bingo hall for a charity event, but you're not allowed no electronic gaming. You can have electronic gaming device at a bingo hall or a charitable gaming event, but you can't have internet gaming at some internet cafe or just at a restaurant or any place that would have internet gaming. They would try to make you just open up an internet gaming place, right? Here, play some internet games, and then somehow you can get money. I mean, my God, you could everybody. That's actually such a great law. We all could start our own casinos instead of only having 5 big casinos that goes to some big ass bigwigs. We can have casinos ourselves. The federal law actually said that reservations can sell marijuana if they want to. So there's actually Cherokee and Shawnee reservations in Kentucky, and they should start selling cannabis. I gotta say cannabis because that's its natural name, cannabis. Marijuana was its racist name. It's made to sound clunky and all, cannabis. It's cannabis. It sounds so fluffy. There's many of these laws are sweeping and comprehensive. They repealed many sections. The Senate Bill 153 repealed 43 statutes. 43 statutes are gone. And it's about bus, car, motor vehicle tax or something. So it's, my God, that's a huge bill. What laws did they change? And you're telling me all these senators and representatives read every single one of these? So, this isn't going to be... I guess I got to cut down on the introduction. When the introduction takes 30 minutes, then you know that you got to cut down on the introduction. Fracking was patented by Halliburton. So, I don't know if you knew fracking is legal now. They won't legalize cannabis. They will legalize fracking. So, now they're allowed to frack. We live on the New Madrid fault line. If you actually look at the topography of the United States, we got the Appalachian Mountains. supposedly it used to be, you know, like the Appalachian Mountains percent. This is like Florida here in New England, and this is the rest of the United States, and Kentucky's like situated in the middle. And so the idea is that there's a continental plate right there where the Appalachian Mountains are, and so at one time they tried to peel away, but couldn't get away and stopped. And so that's why you got like the river, and then you got the mountains. So it seems like a couple hits. I mean, why couldn't the plates just separate again? They tried to do it once. Why couldn't they try to do it again? We're playing with Mother Nature. We're shooting a bunch of water down into the rocks, trying to get all that, all the oil, I guess, and gas or whatever loose. And that just seems, that's just shooting like millions of gallons into the ground just to shake up the bedrock, and then you could get, you know, the gas and oil that kind of comes up. We're creating minor earthquakes when we do it, and there's lots more earthquakes now in Oklahoma. So I think we're really, and the benefits aren't that great. I mean, we get a little bit of natural gas, but it's just a horrible practice. And so we'll legalize fracking. So congratulations, Kentucky. Now, you know, there's an application process, there's a regulatory process. They do a little bit of groundwater testing. They can frack the fuck out of Kentucky. Kentucky's going to get fracked up. They're going to frack the shit out of Kentucky. Kentucky is going to get so fucking fracked, so fracking fracked. It is going to get fracked. I don't know, fracked, more fracked than you've ever been fracked in your life, mother fracker. So that's big news, right? Did you hear anything about that? The legalization of fracking. Hey, Kentucky, we're going to legalize fracking. No, the media says silent on all this. They stayed silent on all this. I don't think anybody knows what the fuck is going on. Nobody in Kentucky. The media is not going, and then I feel like I'm, you know, at the very most I could be a lieutenant governor, right? At the very least, I'm a super citizen. How many people read all 26 or 67 bills and then, you know, analyzes them and says whether they like it or don't like it? And I feel like even though my work could be followed, if people want to follow it, there's nobody going to follow it. Nobody, just this far. I mean, even legislatures won't even follow it this far. But the fact that there's so many sweeping, comprehensive, 43 KRS statutes were repealed for Senate Bill 153. 43. Gone. And there's a lot of bills that was like that. Just like 16 KRS statutes are changed for House Bill 92. 16 KRS statutes amended. Well, what 309.080. I really held that law to my heart, and now they just amend it. And then once the language changed, we only, as the public, see the amended version. And I'm sure there's records of all this changes somewhere. I don't know. I just don't trust backroom door deals. The media didn't tell us about all this stuff. It's kind of boring stuff. And so we're going to find out about these laws when they happen. They're just going to impose these laws on us one day. Oh, yeah, by the way, you know, we passed this law and you're fucked. So get in the cop car. And that's crazy. You know, plus, on top of every other fucking law that they pass like 50 laws a year. You know, just all these confusing laws. It's all printed up. So actually, I mean, it's good that they put it out to the public, but they don't expect you to actually read it. The best hiding spot is just right out in the open. There's a DUI ignition law, there's a campaign finance bill, and then there's a dating violence bill. All three of these bills have not been posted onto their website, but there are going to be like three main bills that people are going to talk about. And I would say the dating violence bill is a good bill. Campaign finance bill is probably going to be a really crappy bill. And then the DUI interlock, I mean, are we kidding? I mean, how far can we go with our fascism? I mean, we're going after salvia, there's mescaline and LSD. I don't know if we have made LSD and mescaline illegal. And if you want to check out how, you know, fucked up Kentucky's laws are, check out our paraphernalia laws. You want to know, you know, what types of paraphernalia there is out there for all the drugs in the world? Could KRS list every piece of paraphernalia that you could ever think of? So that's pretty creative. I think they actually made some of this shit up themselves. So, you know, if they're creating if the idea of passing all these, you know, very specific KRS laws is to create a blueprint for future entrepreneurs for when marijuana eventually becomes legalized anyways, because you guys are all a bunch of old folk. I mean, my God, it's #1 issue on change.org. The majority of the country's already done it. 13 states, you know, medicinal marijuana, 3 of them, 4 or 5 are full-blown legalized. The fucking cat's out of the bag. What are you all fucking doing? Colorado, like, I will seriously consider moving to fucking Colorado. That would be nice. That would be nice to go to an internet fucking joint or a cafe, a cannabis cafe, and meet like-minded people like myself. Not a bunch of drunk fuckers, but a bunch of thoughtful, creative, artistic people. And that's not just Colorado, it's DC, it's Washington, it's Alaska. So there's 4 municipalities. Municipality jurisdictions. There's 4 jurisdictions that have cannabis completely legalized in this country. There's other nations out in this world that have it, you know. Uruguay, which actually is a horrible law. It's very restrictive. Republicans might like how Uruguay did it. But Uruguay, I hate Uruguay model. Fuck the Uruguay model. I'd rather do the Colorado model. Oregon's legal. Oregon's fucked up too. Fuck Oregon model. Fuck the Alaskan model. DC model, I haven't checked DC out too much. Netherlands, I don't know. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to get some work done, I swear. I really do have to start talking about these laws because there's a lot of fucked up laws. And I want to at least document each one of them saying their name. The Puzzling Bankers Fraudulent Transfers Act. It repeals KRS Chapter 378. I mean, the government's going to get your horses and cows law. That's House Bill 312. It's a bad law. The government's going to steal your fucking horses and cows. You like that? You like that idea? More money for old-ass millionaire judges bill, House Bill 241. Sponsored by C. Harris, an act relating to the Court of Injustice. Make sure these old-ass justices gets fucking more money. Fuck you. Tired of all these old-ass judges. They're millionaire judges. The AT&T deregulation bill. My God. And it's page 19 is where it ends. And it begins after I talk about the 2 good child abuse laws on page 8. So just 11 pages, right? 11 pages, real quick. Take a minute per page and time it. You know, I should stick with that, actually. I should try to do the next video in fucking 11 minutes. Because nobody's going to listen to all this. Maybe they will. I think I'm entertaining. And every thought is fucking significant and hold on to it. But, yeah. So, one idea, 1 bill per minute. That'll be the next video. And that'll be the one that'll, you know, be shared. And that'll be the one I blow up on. People are like, this motherfucker here?